Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Steve Jobs, starring Michael Fassbender, Kate Winslet, Seth Rogen, Jeff Daniels, Michael Stolberg, Catherine Waterston, and John Ortiz, and directed by Danny Boyle. Now, before I get into this movie, I should talk about that other movie that was made about his biography called Jobs, starring Ashton Kutcher. Now, it's been a while since I've seen that movie, but was it as good as this one? Well, let's find out. I am a little curious about it. It's been a while since I've seen the Ashton Kutcher one, but we'll see. I mean, before I get there, I just want to say that movie was fine at best. It's not like, and Ashton Kutcher didn't really pull that character off very well, in my opinion. Let's get into it. Michael Fassbender as Steve Jobs is much better than Ashton Kutcher as he looks the part, unlike Ashton Kutcher did. In 1984, in Cupertino, California, he wants his invention of a computer to say hello because the movies made them look scary, and his assistant Joanna Hoffman, played by Kate Winslet, and his technician Andy Hartsfeld, played by Michael Stolberg, who I just talked about recently in Men in Black 3, tells him the voice demo won't work, and Steve goes to his dressing room, finding a Time magazine with Steve looking at the Macintosh as he disapproves, as he's a dick and very fucking picky, and I'm enjoying these characters as I'm having fun and I'm entertained by this movie. Steve's ex-wife, Chrisanne, played by Catherine Waterston, and he have a session, and Joanna takes their daughter Lisa to help fix the voice demo on the computer, and he named the computer called the Lisa, and he says it's a coincidence. And Chrisanne applied for welfare, which kind of sad. And Steve believes Lisa is not his daughter, and all that was very sad, and he threatens Andy to make everyone boo him, and that is a very dickish move. I do like how eventually he realizes it is his daughter, and I'll get there at the end. Steve Wozniak, played by Seth Rogen, asks Steve to acknowledge the Apple II team, but the actor bugs me. But other than 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, and Superbad, and This Is the End, the man kind of bothers me, and that makes me nervous of his version as Pumbaa in The Lion King coming next month. Other than those movies I brought up, this is the best dramatic performance he's ever had, and I enjoyed him here. John Scully, played by Jeff Daniels, is another character I like better here than in the Ashton Kutcher version. And I like Steve J. I'm going to keep calling him through the movie. And Steve Woz for Wozniak brought up Julius Caesar as the board disagrees with him, and there's a scene I like for both Fassbender and Jeff Daniels' performances, and I'll get there when I get there. In 1988, in San Francisco Opera House, Steve J. has another computer called Next, and there's some things I like in this. For example, Joel Fortimer, played by John Ortiz, who's been reporting for Steve since the first computer the first scene, I should say, of the movie. I also like the actress who plays Lisa, who I believe is 9 years old at the time. She did very well acting with Michael Fassbender. Steve J. sees Steve Woz, and I like how Seth Rogen acts in this movie, despite he's playing himself. But he plays Steve Woz, I thought, pretty damn well. Chrisanne begs Steve J. to give her $1,500 for a dentist, and Steve J. acts like a complete asshole to her, and I found it very funny in an odd kind of way. I like the scene where Scully and Steve J. have an argument about how Scully fired Steve J. The acting by those two actors and how they act against each other, and as they're yelling at one another, and Steve J. and Joanna have a brief... I mean, that scene was on electricity. And Joanna have a brief talk before he goes on stage, and we cut to the news and images of the Newton, which was something Scully designed, and how it doesn't work, and we see a clip of the Newton from The Simpsons. And John Scully is fired from Apple, and I love these clips of the news and to The Simpsons. I thought it was pretty damn clever. In 1998, in San Francisco Sympathy Hall, Steve J introduces the iMac, and I remember those computers, and hell, my aunt used to have one. And I like these scenes for how much fun it was. The score made it very Danny Boyle, and I like Joanna tells Steve J, I should call him, to connect with his daughter Lisa after Andy Hartsfeld tells him he pays for Lisa's college in socks, and acts like her father when Steve J is the father. And I always was annoyed that Danny Boyle did the split-second scene here unlike he did in Sunshine. Lisa doesn't want to see her father, Steve J., and he insists on seeing her, and Scully comes in and gives Steve J a gift, and Steve J tells Scully about his father, whom they've met before at a restaurant his father owns, and I like the reveal of Steve J's father, and Steve J and Steve Woz argue about acknowledging the Apple II team, and Steve J says no, and Steve Woz begs him to do it, and do the right thing. Was good acting by Michael Fassbender and Seth Rogen. Lisa finally comes back on stage, tries to connect with her father, and have a brief argument, and she walks to her car, and Steve J tells her about how he lied about naming the computer after her as a coincidence. Remember at the beginning when I said that he said it was a coincidence? Well, that was a lie. And Steve J tells and has an idea to put 1,000 songs in her pocket because he can't stand the CD player or tape player she carries around, and reconnects with his daughter. And I like the endings, and the score was very Danny Boyle at best. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.1 out of 10. I like the characters despite Steve Jobs in real life as a dick. The performances by the actors are outstanding, and I love the music that was total Danny Boyle. And I had a fun, entertaining time with this movie. So I will be back next week with Yesterday, and until next time, and action.